Hello everyone. For today, I'm going to discuss to you about Module 2. Okay, so Module 2 is all about the concept of flowchart and programming. Okay, so for the learning outcomes of this lesson, at the end of the lesson, you are expected to define and explain the flowchart and write and execute programs using the flowchart. Okay, so ano nga ba tong flowchart na tinatawag? So what is flowchart? Flowchart class, it is a pictorial representation of an algorithm. It is also known as the flow diagram, which illustrates the process of a detailed series of steps needed to produce a specific output. Okay, so we have the concept of flowchart. So a flowchart is another commonly used programming tool. By looking at a flowchart, one can easily understand the sequence of the tasks to be performed when writing programs code. Yan. So, this program coding becomes an easy task for a programmer. So, syempre, pag may flowchart tayo na sinusundan, it is easy for us to code or for us to write the program. Okay, so a flowchart is comprised of the different symbols and control lines that connect them. Okay, so each symbol specifies distinct functions. So we have the following symbols that we're going to use in creating a flowchart. So first, we have the terminal. Ayan. So ito yung symbol niya. Yan yung itsura nung terminal natin. So, the function of this is to indicate the start and end of the flowchart. So, only one start and end terminal for each program. Okay, so for the second symbol is the preparation and initialization. So, this is the symbol. Yan. So, ilang side yan? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexagon. Yan. So, the function of this is to initialize or prepare the variables. Okay. So, ito yung gagamitin natin if we're going to prepare the variables. Okay. For the third symbol is the input and output symbol. Anong itsura niyan? Ganyan ang itsura niyan. Anong shape yan? Rhombus. Okay. So, the function of this is to, is used to whenever data is entered, input, or displayed, output. So, one flow line enters and one flow line exits. Another symbol is the process. Ayan. So, rectangle. Yung gagamitin naman natin. Okay, so the function of this is used to whenever data is being manipulated. So, one flow line enters and one flow line exits. Okay, another is the decision symbols. Okay, so ito naman yung symbol na ginagamit natin. The function of this is to render the decision point generally in the forms of yes or no. Yan. Or true or false. Okay, so one flow line enters and bakit two? One flow lines, two flow lines exit. Okay. Another symbol is the OnPage connector. Ito naman yung gagamitin natin na symbol for OnPage Connect. The function of this class is to connect remote flowchart portion of the same page and one flow line enters and one flow line exit. Okay. So, another symbol is the OffPage connector. Ayan. So, nahulog na yung R. So, ito naman yung symbol niya. So, the function of this is to connect remote flowchart portion on different pages. One flow line enters and one flow line exit. Okay. Another is the flow lines, which is the last symbol that we're going to use in creating the functions. I mean, in the flowchart. Okay? So, eto yan. So the function of this is to indicate the direction of flow of control. Okay. So, ito yung mga gagamitin natin, class, in creating a flowchart. So, yan na yan. So, let's try to make a flowchart. For the first example, so let's draw a flowchart that will display the word computer. Okay, so first, we're going to write the algorithm of this statement. So first, let's start. First step, start. Second step, print, display the word computer. Then the last step is the end. Now, we're going to write it in a flowchart. So, start natin, we're going to use the terminal symbol, start, the connector down, and for the, ano nang symbol to? The rhombus symbol, okay, the in and out symbol, print computer. Okay, so yung command natin dito is print computer. Then connector down, then end. Alright, so that's the first example. So before we proceed to the second example, let's answer this thinking box. If the word computer will be changed to the word technology, what will be the output of the flowchart? Sige nga. Of course, technology, di ba? Okay, next example. Let's draw a flowchart that will calculate and display the sum of two numbers entered by the by the user. Okay, so first, ang gagawin natin, we're going to write the variables first. So, x is equal to, gamitin natin si x tsaka si y, So, x is equal to the first number and y is equal to the second number. So, the sum is equal to sum of the two numbers. Alright. So, for the algorithm, write muna natin siya. So, start, then initialize, sum is equal to 0, input x and y, then next is calculate the sum of the two numbers using the equation sum is equal to x plus ni, missing yung y, So, lagyan natin dyan y. Then, print sum, then end. Okay. So, yun yung pagkasunod-sunod to get the sum. Okay. Now, let's convert it into flowchart. So, yan. Use again the start for the terminal lines. For the initial preparation symbol. Yan. Sum is equal to 0. And then, for the input natin, input process natin, x and y, terminal connector, use this symbol for the process, the sum is equal to x plus y, yan. Then, terminal connector down, then print sum. So, ito yung input and output. Sabi nga natin, input and output symbol, print sum. Then, connector, then, end. Ayan. So, ganyan lang siya isulat, So, ganyan lang yung pagkasunod-sunod in creating a flowchart. Okay. So, that's the second example. Okay. I'll give you more example, but before, let's answer this thinking box. What will be the output of the flowchart if the value of x is equal to 8 and the y is equal to 3? Siyempre, di ba? 8 plus 3 is equal to 11. Yun yung magiging output niya. Okay. For the third example, let's draw again a flowchart, that will input two numbers and display for the greater number. Okay. So, ano bang unang natin gagawin? So, let's define first the variables. A is equal to first number, then B is the second number. Okay. So, let's write the algorithm. Let's start. Second is input A and B. So, in this part, we're going to use the condition if. Okay. So, if statement, gagamitin natin. So, if A is greater than B, then true. So, ang pupunta nun, will display A, then go to the step 5. Ano yung step 5 natin is end. This is 4 and 5, I forgot to edit ko na lang ito mamaya. So, this is display A, then go to step 5, which is step 5 is end. Okay? Else, kapag false naman siya, it will display B, then go to the step 5, end. So, let's try to write the flowchart. Or, let's try to draw the flowchart. Okay. So, here we go. Start, then, terminal, the connector line down. For the input process, input symbol, input natin yung A and B. And then, the terminal, the connector line down. A, yan, gagamit tayo ng decision symbol. Ganito yung tsura ng decision symbol, So, it is questionable, answerable by yes or no, or false, or true or false. Ayan. So, A is greater than B. If yes, true ang sagot, will print A. If no naman, will print B, then end. Then, dito muna tayo sa true. If yes, if true, it will print A, then end. Magiging end na siya. So, gumamit tayo dito ng isa pa itong on-page. Gumamit tayo ng on-page symbol to determine this symbol or this process. So, pagdating dito, which is the on-page connector. So, 1. I-declare natin siya the first connector. 1 first. Yan. Para hindi na natin maulit siya dito sa part na to, yung end. So, ang i-call na lang natin dito sa B, pagka sakali nag-false siya dito sa part, hindi na si end. Automatic, si 1 na siya. Si 1 is equal to the end. Yan. So, pag false naman, it will print B, then end. Yan. So, ganyan lang. If we're going to, tawag dito, create a flowchart with decision making or decision process. Alright. Before the other example, I'll give you more example. Okay, so let's answer another thinking box here. What will be the output of the flowchart if the user input 5 as the value of A and 3 as the value of B? What do you think? So, the answer is, of course, diba? The greater number there is A. 5. Okay. Another example. Draw a flowchart that will display the first 10 counting number. Okay, so let's write the variables or write, CT is equal to counter. Okay, so yung counter natin we're going to declare the variable CT is equal to counter. Now, for the algorithm, let's write first for the algorithm. We have here the start. Initialize the counter is equal to 1. Mag-start tayo sa 1. Then, if CT is less than equal to 10, then, display the CT. Or display counter. And the counter now will increment by 1. Then, go to step 3. Yung step 3 natin is, ibig sabihin, pagka yes to, pagka true to, so yung loop niya, babalik lang siya hanggang sa makumpleto yung tawag dito, yung declared equation natin. Okay? Then, if false naman, else, sabi niya dito, go to step 5. So, yung step 5 natin is end. I'm sorry for the numbering step. I forgot it. Okay. Now, this algorithm class, we're going to convert it to flowchart again. So, this is the flowchart. Another, let's start. for the terminal symbol, for the connector, and for the process, or the preparation for counter is equal to 1. Now, let's make a decision using this symbol, the decision symbol. Ang nakalagay dito, class, is count less than equal to 10. Now, if true, is number is count is greater than equal to 10. If true, so it will print the count, it will print the number, yan, i-input niya yon, and then class, ipaprocess niya dito, go down here, so tawag dito, mag-i-increment na yan, so CT is equal to CT plus 1, so pagka na-reach niya, pagka nag-true siya doon, then pababa, susundin niya yung loop niya hanggang sa dun sa dineclare mo na tawag dito, dun sa condition natin. So, magka-count yan, increment. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, babalik lang siya doon sa step 3. Babalik siya sa step 3 hanggang sa makompleto niya yung statement mo. Then, kapag ka naman false, automatic end na siya. Okay? So, ganun lang. Ganun lang yung paggamit ng condition. Medyo umihirap ng konti, para sa inyo. Pero, easy lang yan. Madali lang yan. Okay. Next is, okay. So, I think that is the last example na prepare ko. So, before we proceed to the next topic, let's answer the thinking box. Ayan. How many times was the content of the loop execute? So, how many times yun? So, 10 yun, di ba? So, mag-start tayo sa 10. 1. Nag-start tayo sa 1. So, 10 times. Right? So, first na yung una. So, 10 times na iikot-ikot siya. Okay. Next, if the condition is count less than equal to 10, will be changed to count less than 10, what will be the output? So, what do you think? So, kakount lang siya. Yung una kasi is equal to 10, di ba? So, 1 to 10. Then, eto naman, kapag less than 10, siyempre hindi na siya equal to 10. So, from 1 to 9 lang siya. So, hanggang 9 lang yung magpapakita. Di ba? Okay. Next is, if you will decrement the value of count by 1, what will be the output of the flowchart? Siyempre nga, di ba? Sabi natin kanina, dun sa una, increment, so we're going to use plus. So, here, we're going to use, tawag dito, minus. So, increment, so, siguro, paano kaya yun? Negative. So, think about it. Okay. Next is, okay, so that's all about the flowchart. Now, let's proceed to concept of programming naman tayo. So, algorithm and flowchart class help to present an easier way to understand all the steps in solving a problem. So, after planning a solution, algorithm of flowchart is finally converted into a program or a computer program. So, ano nga ba itong computer program or yung sinatawag nating computer program? So, computer program class, it is a sequence of instructions that the computer executes. So, a person who practices these skills referred to as a computer programmer or a software developer, and the process of designing, writing, testing, debugging, and maintaining the source code of a computer program is called programming. Ayan. So, magkaiba yung programmer sa programming, sa computer programs. Okay, so, gusto ko lang liwanagin. Ang computer program, it is instructions that the computer executes. And, yung computer programmer naman is, it is a person who practices who practices these skills. And for the designing, writing, testing, debugging, maintaining the source code, those are or the programming. Okay, so Chande? Alright. Okay, now, ano nga ba tong programming? So, what is programming class? Programming is instructing the computer using of a tool called the programming language. It is a set of rules that provides a way of telling a computer to perform certain tasks to produce the desired output. Okay, so we have different types of programming language. So, ang daming nagkalat na programming, klase ng programming language. Pero, ano ba, nasaan ba, or alin ba dito yung ginagamit natin? Okay, so, let's define first. Meron tayong tinatawag na low level tsaka high level. Itong low level class, uses of mnemonics. Okay, mnemonics. So, example of this class is, the assembly language. Okay, so we have different kinds din of assembly language na ginagamit natin, like tasam, masam, ganon. So this it contains about the memory, or the idea, inside the computer. Okay, and we have also the high level, high level class. Those are programs were written in an English-like manner. Okay, ano nga ba yun? Okay, so we have an example here, class, is the Pascal, the Fortran, and alam nyo ba yung mga yan? C, C++, Java, Python, Visual Basic, ayan, LSIP, Perl, PHP. Oh, wala akong alam. Ang alam ko lang dito siguro, actually, I know na those are example of programming language. Pero, alin nga ba dito? Dito kasi ako sa PHP eh. And of course, I have an experience in Visual Basic. Actually. Ayan. So, and etc. So, ang daming mga nagkalat na programming language dyan na pwedeng gamitin ng mga programmers. And, of course, soon, you can identify your programming language also. Okay. Now, the question is, how to write a programming, or how to write a program, I mean. Ayan. So, we have different 5 main steps in programming process. So, paano ba siya isasagawa? Or paano ba tayo mag-write? Or paano ba natin simulan? Okay. How? How to start? Okay, first, let's define the problem. Defining the problem. Defining the problem is so difficult. Okay. On this step, class, one has to identify the input or given data, output, or the result of the process to be performed. Okay, of course, we need to define first the problem para makapag-create tayo ng program. Okay, so let's identify first the variables. Ano ba yung mga yun? Let's, let's gather all the problems na kailangan natin para makapag-isip tayo ng concept, magkapag-isip tayo ng design, makapag-create tayo ng flowchart for the solution of this problem. Okay? Next is planning the solution. Okay, yun nga, di ba? So now, you already defined the problem. Then now, it's the time to plan for the solution. Okay, so in planning a solution, the programmer will check that and trace if the algorithm or flowchart is error or free. Yan, error free. So, writing an algorithm and designing a flowchart was discussed in the previous lesson, right? Okay, so, alam ko naman na alam niyo na yon, So, hindi na kayo masyadong malilito doon. Now, after that, that is now the time to code the program. So, you already planned the solution, you already planned for the concept of that problem, how to solve it. Then, yun na, kakreate na tayo ng program, magko-code na tayo. So, to express your solution, in the programming language, one will translate the logic from the algorithm or flowchart to the programming language. Now, yan yung time na gagamit tayo ng mga programming language na kailangan natin to code our program. To code our, Yun na, tama nga. So, it's either, it's for you, it's up to you if you're going to use C++, depende. It depends on the problem kung saan siya pwedeng gamitin. Okay. Next is, ayan. In writing a program, programmers should follow exact the rules of the syntax used by a certain programming language. Yun na sinabi ko kanina, di ba? Okay. Next, for the last step is testing the program. Yan. After coding, the program must be mentally traced or check logic, yan, or flow to attempt to ensure that it's error-free and workable. Then, it must be prepared to test it on the computer. So, ito na yun. Ito na yung pinaka, tawag dito, medyo, nakakakaba minsan kapag nagre-write ka ng code, nagko-code ka ng program, then hindi natin alam kung yan na ba, gagana na ba to, ganon. So naisususpend din tayo sa result minsan or naiinis tayo kasi hindi siya gumagana because of mga debugs, ganon nga, diba, yung mga errors pa natin, ganon. Okay, so in this phase, we have different steps involved. Yan. So, first, we have the translating. Yan. A translator is a program that checks the syntax of the program to make sure the programming language was used correctly, giving you all the syntax errors messages called diagnostic, and then translates the program into a form the computer can understand. Okay, so as you can read the word translating, ayan yun. Next is debugging. Yan. Debugging means detecting, collecting, and correcting bugs or mistakes. Yung sinabi ng bugs is mistakes. Usually by running the program. So in this phase, run the program using device test data. Test data must be carefully planned to ensure that every part of the program is tested. So, ito yung part na nakakainis minsan nakaka-excite. Okay, so, ito na yung part or ito na yung phase na kung saan nag-check tayo ng mga errors ng mga ng codings natin o ng program natin, ano? So, next is executing. Convert the program into a form the human can understand in the space, so the output of the program will be displayed on the monitor. So, ito na. So, after the debugging, ito na yung time na kung saan we're going to test all the flow of our system or your program, by, of course, by executing now the compute or the program na ginawa mo. Okay. Next, or the last part, or the last process, in writing a program class is documenting the program. So, documentation is a written, detailed description of the program, which includes all the steps taken for solving the problem, such as input-output algorithm of flowchart, the programming language used, instructions, date of last modification of the program, and the people who can contribute for the development of the program. So, it is important to have the program documented for feedback and corrections. Okay, ito yung last na ginagawa natin, class. Siyempre, after from the start, creating and coding, planning, creating, and creating or coding, testing, and of course, we're going to document all needed hanggang sa mabuo na yung system siya. Then ready na for implementation, for the use sa mga end user natin. Ayan. So that's all about the concept of flowchart and programming. So hoping, class, you understand my discussion about module 2. So hoping you will do your yung mga activity nyo, masagutan nyo lahat yon, so that's all for module 2. Good luck and God bless.